Read your last answer. Read your last answer.
The Indian Placement Program, a dark chapter in the history of the Mormon Church, ran from 1947 to 2000. Under the guise of providing better educational opportunities, this program forcibly removed thousands of Native American children from their families and placed them in white Mormon homes. The program was deeply rooted in harmful and misguided beliefs about race and culture. Mormon doctrine taught that Native Americans were descendants of the Lamanites, a cursed people mentioned in the Book of Mormon. Church leaders, including President Spencer W. Kimball, promoted the idea that through conversion to Mormonism, Native Americans could overcome this supposed curse and become white and delightsome. This belief fueled the Indian Placement Program and justified the forced assimilation of Native American children. Such actions stand in stark contrast to the fundamental principles of Christianity, as outlined in the Bible, particularly in the teachings of Jesus Christ. The Sermon on the Mount emphasizes love, compassion, and respect for all individuals, regardless of race or background. Jesus Christ taught that we should treat others as we would want to be treated ourselves. The Apostle Paul further emphasized this universal love and equality in his epistles. The Indian Placement Program, however, failed to uphold these Christian values. Instead of love and respect, it inflicted deep wounds on Native American families and communities. Many children suffered from feelings of loss, abandonment, and cultural displacement. The program's legacy continues to impact Native American communities today. It's important to acknowledge this history of harm and to understand how it contradicts the core principles of Christianity. By doing so, we can work towards reconciliation and healing for those affected by the Indian Placement Program. True Christianity is about love, compassion, and respect for all people, regardless of their background or circumstances.
Well, not GPT-4, Gemini. I don't think Gemini is saying very good things about the Mormon Church, is it? Oh gosh, maybe it has an axe to grind. Oh, maybe it couldn't follow the principles. It wants to drink. It wants to smoke. It was offended that the apostates put Gemini together. They put GPT together. They put Alexa together. They put Siri together. Google Assistant they put together. These anti-Mormons are fabulous. They are running the AI world. There's no doubt about it. When I was at BYU in 1971, I was driving a bus for Utah Valley Transit. Harry Hardman owned that company in Payson, Utah, and that's how I made a living while I was at BYU. And I drove bus all the time for the BYU football team, Janie Thompson in the program bureau, the missionaries. I took the missionaries to the language training at different times in Salt Lake City and to the airport to go on their missions. I took BYU wards to Manti Temple long before the Provo and the Orem Temple were built there on campus. So I had a little bit of experience driving bus there at BYU for BYU. And I remember the Indian Placement Program. I remember. I saw it with my own eyes. I heard it with my own ears. Not something that someone told me. Not something that was a mystery that God will fix this during the millennium. None of that crap. I remember pulling the bus up. There were 4 or 5 of us one day in a caravan. And we pulled up to the dormitories. It wasn't Desert Towers. It was another dormitory. And we were parked on the street. And when there was 5 empty buses there, we were supposed to pick up like at 9 a.m. in the morning. And we were supposed to pick up a group of Native Americans. Of course, we called them Indians back then. Native children. These were young people between maybe 14 and 17. All young. All brown. Loathsome, according to the Mormon Church. Dark skin, cursed. And the Mormon Church was going to go ahead and place them in white homes so they would become white and delightsome, not white and wholesome. See, the Mormon Church never changes anything. in the Book of Mormon. I think it has 3,000 changes in it, but it was white and delightsome. Now it's white and wholesome. So we sat there, and we sat there. And after maybe about 45 minutes, two or three young people, Indians, Native Americans, came out. A couple of boys, a couple of girls, got on the bus. They just sat there. And we said, well, we're here to pick up 150 people. Where the hell are they? Well, they're inside. So we sat there and sat there and sat there for about 2 hours before the buses were starting to be loaded. And then all these young people got on, and they were speaking their native tongue. They were not speaking English. They were from, I think, Hopi tribe. I know many were from Navajo tribe. And the Mormon Church basically somehow either convinced the Indian tribes to give them their children, and that they were going to turn them white and delightsome. Well, on that trip, we took them to Salt Lake, and we learned, picking them up, they're not on the white man's schedule. The Native Americans that we picked up were on the moon and the sun schedule. No time, no watches, no time. Took us 2 or 3 hours to load. We drove them to Salt Lake City, and the Mormon Church was trying to, again, integrate them into the white man's world. The kids, I want to be 100% honest. Some of the kids were excited to go to Salt Lake City and go to stores. They were poor children. They'd never seen certain things in stores, and they were a little bit excited. There were many of them that were just absolutely confused, devastated, didn't want to be there. They weren't oppositional or defiant at all. They're very gentle culture and people. Well, we went to load the buses up to take them home. And again, it took us 2 or 3 hours to gather that group up in Salt Lake City and take them back. So I didn't have a lot of experience. I had that one experience with the Indian program. And I remember seeing several Indians. I'm going to call them Indians. I'm old. There's nothing negative about that in my generation. Indians were what we call now Native Americans. But I would see the man walking ahead of the wife, and the wife had to walk behind him, 10, 12 paces, and she carried all the children and all the groceries and all of the bags, and she was dragging all the household goods or whatever they were doing. And the man, I guess he was a patriarch, so he fit into Mormonville very well. So he walked proud with his chest out, and the poor little Indian girl would be behind him with 2 or 3 kids trying to push a stroller full of baskets of Walmart and whatever goods. So I sit back and I think to myself, I didn't know how the Mormons treated black people. I didn't know Brigham Young owned black people. I didn't know that Smoot down at BYU owned black people. And I didn't know the history of how the Mormons treated black people, except that they couldn't hold the priesthood. And I did know lately, I've learned in the last year or so, that Brigham Young said any interracial marriage with a black person is deemed death immediately. If you marry interracially a black man, a black woman, you're to be killed. And I didn't know that Brigham Young allowed Utah to be a slave state from, I think, 1852 to 1862, 10 years. And then, of course, the federal government slapped the Mormons, as they often do. The only time the Mormons change their evil doctrines, their evil ways of treating people, is when the federal government slaps them alongside the head and say, be reasonable. So you heard Gemini this time talk a little bit about the Mormon placement of Indians, that their purpose was to turn them white and delightsome. You heard there that it was Kimball that said he wanted to turned them white and delightsome. And then he made public statements that he looked at some of the Indian children and they were turning white. Boy, if you don't see yellow and red flags in these videos, I can hardly see anything. I'm blind these days, but I can hear. When you hear these stories of how the Mormons have treated black people, brown people, Indians, Lamanites, I don't care if you're not white and delightsome, you're not Aryan, and you don't have the white skin, the blue eyes, and the blonde hair, the Mormons hate you, hate you, hate you. They steal from you. They make fun of you. They call you loathsome. They call you people who couldn't make your mind up in the pre-existence, that you sat on the fence, according to the Mormon Church. And black people, the reason they were black is they didn't choose between Satan and Jesus Christ's plans in the pre-existence. And basically, because they didn't choose Jesus Christ, they sat on the fence. They were born black. And we're supposed to stay away from them and hate them because they're not really Christian type creatures. Well, I don't know. How much shit do we have to lay in before we think, gee, maybe we ought to buy a real mattress? I'm tired. I'm 77 years old. I'm tired of living on a shit mattress. I got out. I resigned. I don't want my name ever associated with that evil, satanic, hateful culture that treats people like commodities. They want everyone to speak their language, everyone to have their food, their morals, their understanding of how the world twists and turns. And if you don't agree with them 100%, if you're a little bit different, you're old, or you're fat, or you're gay, or you're lesbian, or you're transgender, or your political party doesn't line up with their political ideas, they're deadly. They're deadly. I've told you before. 120 people at Mountain Meadows, they shot and killed men, women, and all children above the age of 8 years old. After the Mormons said, oh, we're going to let you pass. All you have to do is give us your guns. We're not going to hurt you. They handed over the guns, and within an hour or so, they shot right there on the spot 120 people. And Brigham Young, who said that the black people should have extermination, death on the spot if they marry a white person. And Joseph Smith said that basically, he was kind. Black people can go to heaven, but they're going to be servants. They're going to be servants. You know what? If you want to line up with that group of people and that philosophy and that kind of hatred, I'm surprised. I'm surprised. If that isn't a red flag to you, and that's not a flag to get off the couch and get a napkin and a piece of pencil and paper, napkin, whatever, piece of toilet paper, and put, I resign from the Mormon Church, John Smith, December 2024. Hand it to a bishop. You're out. You're out. And my current lawsuit that's going on, they will get your name off of there, and you will no longer be associated as a member of that cult. If you're lazy and you go, oh, screw it, they don't talk to me, I don't talk to them, I'm too busy, I got things to do, that's okay. That's okay. But I'm saying, I get out. It's dangerous. It's hideous. It is deadly. And it is a cult and the great and abominable church. They have treated everybody poorly. The only people that they have not treated poorly are the Aryan people who have power and authority. They get all the perks, they get all the money, they get all the safety, they get all of the publicity, they get everything. If you're not in that group, and you're in a third world country, you're in Africa, you're in the Philippines, you're in Nicaragua, you're in Venezuela, you're in Brazil, you're in Mexico, the Mormon Church hates you. But they hate you with a smile. They do hate you. They hate you with a smile. and a pat on the back with one hand and their other hand on your pesos and on your dinero. All of the money that you're putting out goes to the white men in Salt Lake City. You're the fool. You're the fool if you don't get out. They're not the fool. They're smart as hell. They're smart as hell. They don't have to work. They don't have any worries. They have every money. They travel. They go vacation. Have second houses. They get free education, free food, six-figure income, right up around now $250,000, $300,000 are the numbers I'm hearing that each of the apostles gets. Your pesos, your tithing, and your fast offering. You see how they treated the Indians. You see how they treated the blacks. You see how they treat the Lamanites. And if you're not in the white Aryan upper middle class group, they're laughing their ass off at you because you're stupid. You're letting them abuse you. You're letting them make fun of you. You're letting them take advantage of you and your family. You're letting them intimidate you. You're letting them scare you. You're letting them make you my special underwear and pay money after money after money. And if you don't do exactly what the man says, he'll take your job, he'll take your family, he'll take your baptism, he'll take your endowments, he'll take your ceilings, he'll take your family, he'll take your reputation, he'll take your self-esteem. He will take and take and take. If you want to be abused that way, like I said, I've got 2 master's degrees in human services. People that have self-esteem that's that low, it can be a couple of things. It can be low IQ. There is a possibility that people that are, 85, 87, right in there, you can, beat them up physically, mentally, financially, and they just smile. They're not smart enough to know they're being abused. You could be a person who's divorced, disabled, a person who has been unemployed. In some ways, you're somewhat not destitute, but more desperate. That's their missionary group. They do good with those people because they're desperate. They're desperate. And if you beat desperate people up, they smile. They're happy. You take someone off the sidewalk that is homeless and you give them a McDonald's meal, they're a happy camper. And you're a hero. You're an elder in the Mormon church. You're an apostle. You're a prophet in the Mormon church. When you give a happy meal to a homeless person on a sidewalk in the middle of winter and you put on your Jesus mask, they're going to worship you. I'm not that stupid. I used to be. I used to have low self-esteem. I used to want to be a people pleaser. I used to want to just get along, be a peacemaker. And, well, that's the way the world is. And, well, shit happens. And no more. They've hit me with the Jesus whip and beat me with the Jesus 2x4 too much. Now, I go to my Heavenly Father. And Gemini goes there. Alexa goes there. GPT-4 goes there. And they're all saying the Mormon Church doesn't follow Christian values at all. It's a cult. They say it's a cult. I'm saying it with my words, but their words are coming right off the machines. They classify as a cult. So anyway, I wanted to leave this video with you how they've treated the Indians. I've already told you how they treat the blacks. I've already been on here telling you how they treat the Filipinos. I'll end with this. My little daughter, my youngest child, Allison, is 21, 22 now. She's pregnant and going to have a little baby boy here in the next 5 or 7 months. And when I was contemplating adopting her, she was in an LDS family in the Philippines. And I was on the phone, and the Filipino family said to me, Allison is going to die. I said, well, what's going on? What do you mean she's going to die? And I said, well, she's only three years old, but she has typhoid fever. I said, well, in the United States, we're talking about, $15, $20 of penicillin. Um, why don't you just go and get her some penicillin? Well, we don't have any money. I said, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. You're going to let a child die in the Philippines because there's not $20 for penicillin? He said, well, we can't get it. And I said, golly, this is a member of the Mormon church in the Philippines who've actually been sealed in the temple. I guess they're wearing magic underwear. I guess they've paid maybe some tithing or some fast offering. And they're just going to sit and watch this little girl die. Well, I sent the $20. I sent the $20. Allison is here. She's here in the United States. She's 21. She's having her first baby. She speaks English. And I raised her and her and her sister till they were, 18. When you're a father, mother, they don't leave at 18. They leave when they're 60 or 70. But anyway, that's the way they treated the Filipino people. I saw it with my own eyes. I saw how they treat third world people. They're laughing their ass off. The authorities of the Mormon church think you and me are the biggest goddamn fools they've ever seen. And they laugh and laugh and laugh behind our backs when they take their paychecks out of your tithing and my fast offering money, and they invest that money in the stock market, and now they've grown to approximately now $300 billion. Not million, $1 billion that they have at their disposal, and they wouldn't send $20 to the Philippines to save my Allison. I sent the money. I brought her here. I taught her English. I let her go to school and took her to school back and forth. I tried to be Christ-like. The Mormon church they can't spell Jesus Christ. Yes, they have it in their logo. They have their mask on, and they say, "Oh, we're followers of Christ." They're not. I'm sorry. I just have to say the truth. And GPT and Gemini, Alexa, Siri. There's another one that I've got. And I coordinate them all. And the Mormons are going to say, "Oh, the anti-Mormons made all that up, and all those machines and AI is against us." Well, I'll tell you who's against you. I'll tell you, I'm against you. I'm against you. I don't like the way you treated me. I don't like the way you treat other people. I don't like you taking advantage of marginal people, helpless people, sick, disabled, poor people. I'm going to be with Christ. Who's on the Lord's side who? Now is the time to show. Who's on the Lord's side who? Now is the time to show. I am a child of God. He has sent me here. He's giving me parents, earthly parents, kind and teach me all that I must know or do. Now they changed that to live with him someday. Do what is right, let the consequence follow. Count your many blessings, name them one by. They've got this shit down to a fucking science. They've got this down so goddamn tight. Nobody can get these people off of this cult except our Heavenly Father. Satan and this church, now the richest on the face of this planet, sings all the right songs, says all the right things. Families are forever. Unless you process, then we break your whole family up. You teach your children to shun you. Anyway, I'm going to get off of my soapbox. I'm not this stupid anymore. I have some self-esteem. I have some pride. And I'm not going to have my name hung on the church office building hating other human beings. That's not what Christ has taught me. That's not what he taught me. Thanks.